Good evening to one and all present here. It is my proud privilege as I stand here today to right where everything began. I am Urja Jain, and for the next 17 minutes, I'm going to take you on a journey. A journey of mine, but in parts, yours too. And while I was writing this piece, I found myself ruminating, and I came across certain phases, certain anecdotes, and at that moment when it had happened, never had imagined that it would be of that importance, of that relevance, of who am I today, right now, this very second. So let's begin from this very campus. The term building block is often described as a standard unit to construct something much more complex. The three blocks, primary, secondary, and senior secondary, were not just structures, but they were indeed building blocks of my life. Back in 2002, primary school was that one phase where my curiosity found a little voice, where learning felt more of a discovery than a duty. We had the simplest science fair projects and wins that felt monumental at that time. I still remember walking in straight lines with a finger on the lip, quietly learning the meaning of decorum and discipline. I remember drawing and coloring within the lines because that is what I thought, that I could try freely and could grow into anything. I do have faint memories of my primary block, but I would like to share two prominent highlights of my fourth standard. One, where I was nominated to be for an elocution competition where I had to deliver a speech by Winston Churchill. My first big memory in a big hall behind a podium. And second, where I was the recipient of the All-Rounder Student Prize at the end of the academic year. My first accolade on stage. Graduating to secondary, where we were transitioning from pencils and erasers to gel pens, symbolic enough of the fact that mistakes could not be just erased now, right? We were growing up. Well, secondary block taught me the importance of having hobbies. And as I rightly recall, it was every last period of Tuesday and Thursday, where we had the last session. You had to pick two hobbies. My academics and sports, we found a conscious balance. I took up to playing basketball and lawn tennis, and what a perfect explanation to, oh my God, you're so tall. Like, yes, I am. I've played basketball for 8 years of my school life. So yes, that's that. And I also realized the importance of having extracurricular activities in life. I myself participated in everything that I could find. There were classroom discussions, there were quiz competitions, there was sports day, annual day. There was even an meet and greet of the international exchange student programs that happened. And it made me the person that I am today. It has made me interact with people from so many diverse walks of life. And the one that I have learned and shared my experiences, it's just not from books or from exam halls, but from people, from experiences, from interactions. Well, moving to the last part of my school, the senior secondary block, where we were just not mere students. We were young leaders. We were part of the school student council body. I myself was the house captain, my Godavari house captain. I led the march past. We were competing. We were cheering the entire year. And only to realize it was such an exciting but a tumultuous experience at that time. We had boats coming up. We had everything going on in life. But as I see it now, it has prepared us. We have seen what comes our way can be handled, can be tackled, and can be found a solution to. So these were the school years of my life. And after school, I wanted to pursue my undergraduation in economics. And I wanted to move away from home. Now, do not misunderstand the latter part of my last sentence, because home is a very cocoon space crafted for my comfort, my warmth, where I'm pampered, where I point and I get things. I'm like, this is what home is. And additionally, I'll always be forever grateful for my parents because they have instilled values in me where they believe in me. They know that I will be good and I will do good, as well as the importance of right decision making for oneself. So I moved to Bombay. I was in a new city, a new academic space, and I was overcoming new set of challenges and having new interactions. And college is one space where, A, from being away from home, and second, where it was a new city, it was a new life, and I was independent. I was responsible for my own decisions. In my first year, I got nominated for the Excellence in Arts program, EXAP, commonly known as, and I did 3 research papers, and I presented them and defended them. So yes, things were going according to plan. I knew the subject I wanted to undergraduate in. I was well on track. And later, then the discussions in college defied the walls of classroom alone. Canteen and cafeterias were the new hotspots for public discourse. And we spoke about everything. Our discussion started from politics of the national and subnational level to the creeping nepotism in Bollywood, unlike Hollywood, to saving dolphins in Japan, which in turn made me A, read a lot, second, argue a lot, and finally have a well-defined opinion at the end of the day, paving my path towards indulging in youth parliaments and model UNs. I have done around approximately as a participant and chair, I have been involved in around 60 odd model UNs. And that is where it had become my weekend thing. I used to do it, I used to meet new people, I used to interact, talk about world issues, making myself believe that I will change the world, I will be on this path. And the last 3 were very special to me, actually. First, being my own college model UN, Mansophical, where I was the Secretary General. Second, where I created an environment for a youth world mock parliament with the Marathwada police in collaboration with them. And lastly, my very own, very special, the maiden edition of the North Valley Model UN that happened. And it felt so satisfying that time. It felt like I was paying back to this society. This was my due that I was paying back. So yes, everything was on track, everything was on like going through planned as I did. But only to realize very innocently that life will be as planned. I had clocked my hours, I had clocked my plan, and I'm doing it, I'm on track. Then I moved to New Delhi. That is the holy grail for civil services aspirants. To give you a little disclaimer about this exam, the Civil Service Examinations, or the CSE, is conducted by the Union Public Service Commission. It is a 3-stage examination. One, you have the prelims, second is the mains, and third is the personality test, popularly known as the interview round. And mind you, if a candidate, he or she does not clear at any stage, you go back to square one. Now, with that context in mind, I was in New Delhi. I'm like, let's sit for it. Let's go. Let's do this because I've planned this. I sat for prelims 2018. I did not clear. All right, let me take another try at it. I sat for prelims 2019. I did not clear the exam. And suddenly, things felt off track because I am someone who'd always associated myself to be on track, to go as planned, fell into this dingy, dark place. And failure, we don't talk about this enough because failure does not only test your capability, it tests your identity. There were questions in my mind. What am I doing wrong? Am I not good enough? Is it not happening for me? Is it not written for me? Or I am going somewhere wrong. And it hit me so bad in my head where I was on the path of feeling that my mental stress can go in one direction, that's fine, but I have to keep trying. I was slogging on one chair for 13 hours a day. I was eating randomly. I was eating anything that's available in front of me. And I was still not clearing. I had given all my hours. I had paid my dues, everything, but I'm not clearing. I I took a step back. Somewhere in that darkness, I thought to myself, you know what, let's reassess, let's recuperate, let's see what my routine needs, let's see where I can actually make changes in myself, because outside world was not making sense to me at all. I did. I started breathing. I became more pensive. I sat with myself. I thought what was going wrong, so let's fix that. Let's start with very small. I started fixing my routine. I started waking up early. I simulated a test-like environment. You know what that UPSC hall is all about. Let me do that. I did that. I sought help from the right people and sat for prelims 2020. I cleared the exam. I did it, but that was just step one. We have 2 more steps to go. I just kept saying one thing to myself. The chance is 1, and 1 is all I need. I cleared my mains examination of 2020 and my personality test round, securing about 206 marks in my interview, which was one of the highest that year. And the moment was surreal. It felt like things might not go as planned. But you yourself can only make that difference. You yourself are the ones who's going to change, who's going to make some small fixes if required to achieve what you've imagined for yourself. Before I close this phase of my life, I'd want to simulate one question that was asked to me in my interview round, in my personality test round, the most crucial 19 minutes of my life, I would say. Okay, so imagine a small boardroom with 5 people on one end and I'm seated on the other end. And this is the last question. Okay, so Urja, you've spoken a lot. Now I want one word answer. Which one trait or quality you think all services need more of? Sir, may I take a minute to answer, please? Sure, I'll give you 2 minutes, but I need only one word answer. Remember that. Compassion. And cut. This was the last question asked to me in my interview round. In that 1 minute, I was scrambling in my head. I was jumping from one thought to another. And I just took a pause. I shut all the other noises. I fell back to my basics, the core of humankind existence. And that pause, ladies and gentlemen, made all the difference, and this is why I'm here today. So next was the training period. Well, we all think that clearing the exam is such a feat in itself and it's done. No, it's just the beginning. It is beginning of a far greater responsibility, is what I see it as now. During my 2 years at the National Academy of Customs, Indirect Taxes and Narcotics, we were taught about complex laws, be it customs, GST, narcotics, and as well as other subjects, being accounts, administration, vigilance, dispute resolution, Rajbhasha, which made us obviously well prepped to function as future administrators. But during the academy time, I had the opportunity to travel the length and breadth of India. And the way I saw my country, it was, we went to so many different states, we met so many people, and it was a living, breathing reality. It was not just a map, but a reality. One such instance was when my visit was to Dharohar, the National Museum of Customs and GST in Goa. They were displayed all items, the goods that were seized by officers of the past and now have become a national treasure for us. In that moment, I felt a sense of purpose, that one day the work I do should be not, I don't mind if not displayed, but it should inspire the officers who come after me. That is what I want for myself. And there were many other instances. We are a batch of 31 officer trainees then, and we celebrated all festivals. We celebrated Janmashtami, Onam, Dasera, Eid, Ganesh Chaturthi, reminding what diversity is all about. And there were some memories that will stay with me till the end of my career. Like I'm sharing my journey with you today, I had the honor of the highest order to share my academy experience with the Honorable President of India. And in that moment, I was not just representing myself, I was representing all the other 30 officer trainees. Secondly, I was also the platoon commander for my passing out parade, a ceremony that marks the transition from us being officer trainees to officer. But now, when I have assumed charge independently, I have realized that every decision I take, every case I handle, every document I sign carries responsibility. It is not just, public service is not just about authority, it's about the trust. Trust to do good and trust to be good. And I remember going back to school years, I remember one of our academic themes being reaching greater heights. Now, greater heights is not just about success. It's about growth. It's about falling, failing, but having the courage to start again, to rise again. And before I close, I'd like to intimate the audience with one concept that I've been reading quite a lot. It's a 7-minute rule. The 7-minute rule says that even when the heart stops beating, the brain remains active for 5 to 7 minutes. This is because of the residual oxygen that is there. The energy is firing up the neurons, and which in turn has some gamma waves oscillations relating to memories coming back. In those 7 minutes of my life, what do I want to be displayed? Do I want the rank and results, or the courage that I had to try again? Would I want the position that I held, or the lives I've touched? So, the only takeaway from this should be that live your life fiercely, chase your ambitions fiercely, and live in a way that when those 7 minutes ever come for you, you would want to smile watching them. Thank you for being such a patient audience. Jai Hind.